I am a breast cancer survivor. I went to my regular doctor because I was feeling run down and dealing with a virus that I couldn't shake. So I went to get some antibiotics, and in the file he noticed that I was a 43-year-old woman and had never had a mammogram. So he sent me to get a mammogram. I went, I had the mammogram, and later got a call that it was an irregular mammogram and that they wanted me to come back and do a second one. And that year I had had like 3 near misses of things that could have been really serious but turned out not to be. And so I just thought, okay, this is just one more. I didn't give it much thought at all. So I went in, did the second mammogram, and the technician came in and showed me the film, and my right breast was covered with little flecks, and it definitely didn't look like the left. And so there was something definitely going on. So she let my doctor know, and he referred me directly to a surgeon. I met with the surgeon, and she ordered a needle biopsy. So I went in to have this needle biopsy and waited for the results. I got the phone call at work. It was DCIS, ductal carcinoma in situ, and it had microinvasions. It was an intermediate to aggressive cancer. So I met with the doctor again, and when I got that call, I just remember a plethora of emotions. I was so in shock and in disbelief, and then it turned to anger. I thought, I am a mother of 4 children. I had 2 girls in high school. I had 2 children in elementary school. I worked full-time. I was always behind in everything. I did not have time or the money to have cancer. And I was angry. Then when I finally settled down and began to accept the fact that I had to deal with this, I got down to business. But the doctor, first of all, I made a huge mistake. I went to the doctor by myself. I didn't take anyone with me. So all the things that she was explaining to me was just swimming in my head. I really should have had someone there with me. But she explained to me my options, and I could do nothing, and chances are it would metastasize and be a bad situation. Or I could have a lumpectomy, and if it had gone into my lymph nodes, then I would probably have to have chemotherapy or radiation, or both. Or I could have a mastectomy. And I could tell the doctor was kind of pushing me towards the mastectomy, but I wasn't ready to hear that. She gave me another week before I came in and had to tell her what I was supposed to do, what I had chose to do. During that time, I read all that I could. I prayed all that I could. I made a pro and con list of every situation, and I pictured myself making that decision. I quickly outrolled doing nothing because I was chicken and I knew better. And I pictured myself having a lumpectomy. I pictured myself having a mastectomy, and I even pictured myself having a double mastectomy. But one of the doctors that I went to see quickly put a nix on that when he asked me, Linda, if your left hand had cancer, would you cut your right hand off too? And that was huge to me, and he knew what he was talking about in my personal situation. That's not everybody's situation. So I outruled that one, and I decided to go with a lumpectomy. We went in for the lumpectomy, and they took 1/3 of my breast, and they still could not get clean margins. So we had to go back in the following month and do a mastectomy. Looking back on it now, I should have chose the mastectomy first off, but I learned a lot about myself too, in that I need to take baby steps, and I just wasn't ready to make that big leap to cutting off a body part. But the doctors were really good to let me chart and choose my course, and they supported me in everything that I chose to do. So in that way, I was really grateful. Like I said, I have to take baby steps. I did not get reconstructive surgery right away. I waited for a year. Glad I went ahead and did that. I did not have a lump. I would have never found it on my own. I am so grateful for medical technology now that can help us find these dangerous things lurking in our bodies so that we can do something about it. That's why your mammograms are so important to do on a regular basis. I found there's such good people in the medical industry. I can't remember their names, but I can remember their kindness and their concern for me, and sweet little vignettes of caring that they gave to me during that time. My friends, my family, my coworkers were so supportive and so loving. I felt loved through the whole process. Cancer is not fun, but it was an interesting journey for me. I often think of my life before cancer and after cancer. Before cancer, I was stressed. I had relationship problems with my husband. We weren't getting along at times. My children, I had parenting problems. I had 2 teenagers, and all that goes along with having teenagers. My plate was full and I was very stressed. Cancer was a real wake-up call for me. I look at my life and think I would never want to go through that again. I would never wish it on anybody else, but I'm glad that I went through it. I grew a lot, I learned a lot, I found out a lot about myself. I'm happy to say that my relationships with my family and my husband are better and stronger than ever. The whole ordeal was worth it to me, but of course I found it early and the outcome could have been very different. I used to say before cancer, I always said, I'm so sick and tired, and that was self-prophecy for me. Never say that, never say you're sick and tired, because it will happen. But now, whenever I find myself slipping, I remind myself I am so happy and so blessed. And that's truly how I feel. Life is so good.